Please put your mics and the cameras off. Om. Om. Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedascha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Hadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye Om Shanti 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 Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahmavidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsharshibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvopaplavarahitāः Prajnanaghanah Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sangha Pavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Pada Vidham Bibhrate Tasmai Bhashyakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane Om Yasya Nishvasitam Vedaha Yo Vedebhyo Khilan Jagat Nirmame Tamaham Vande Vidyatirtha Maheshwaram Vidyatirtha Maheshwaram. When the person is totally desireless, because the desires are centered only on these three objects. All the desires are variations of just this. Putra, Vitta and Lok. Desire for progeny will include a desire for women, for property, because if you want to have a woman and children, you will have to provide them with protection and shelter. Naturally, there will arise other needs like food and clothing. So you see, all these things, all the various desires finally culminate, get distilled into the understanding that it is Putreshana, Vitteshana, and Lokeshana. And having come to the conclusion that one does not want any of this. But the fulfillment is only in knowing Atma is Brahman. Now, rest of the activities which are meant for procuring the fulfillment of these desires, all those activities, Shastriya and Laukika, are given up. This then is called as sannyas, and he is giving it up because A, he does not want it, and B, that what is wanted by him cannot be brought about by these activities. What is wanted by him is now only the knowledge, knowing Brahman, that is it. And therefore, for the sake of knowledge, the sannyasa is taken, which is Vividisha sannyasa. But in case if the person, in spite of having being desireless, due to certain restrictions, certain pratibandhas, perhaps his mother, father has not given him the permission, his wife has not given him the consent, he has to stay as a grihastha, perform the duties of a householder towards his parents, towards his wife, towards his children, ancestors, atithi, so on and so forth. Diligently he performs them. But there is one more added feature to him, and that is this person also does Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, which means he gives himself sincerely, honestly to, to the way Vedanta can be assimilated. The teaching of Upanishad can be understood conclusively, eradicating all doubts by employing appropriate logic, giving himself to a certain to the practice of meditation, and thereby resolving even the idea, the factuality associated with the concept that I am the doer, I am the experiencer, aham karta, aham bhokta, aham jivaha, or that is also resolved. Now this person simply desires manovishranti, which means the mind at rest, not preoccupied with anything, not anxious and disturbed by anything, because all that has to be known is known, nothing is desired, and he has also seen that the duality which is experienced is false. Atma is Brahman. This is all there, and therefore he takes to Vidvat sannyasa. Thus, owning nothing, claiming nothing, no possessions, no rights claimed, all rights given up and now absorbed only in the self, established in the self. Such a Vidvat sannyasi is indeed verily personification of God. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. And due to his intense absorption, Brahmavid, Brahmavid Vara, Brahmavid Variyan, and Brahmanisht. Sequentially, he even climbs the ladder of Jivan Mukti to the state of Turiyaga. Even beholding such a Mahatma in his physical frame through our physical eyes itself is a great benediction, a great blessing. You will be able to behold beautiful men and women, gold and silver, and everything that these eyes are going to look at will only instigate desires and ambitions. But here is something beholding which, seeing whom, the peace descends. A person finds the light in the stormy night, which will direct him to the true destination of life. This is the lighthouse for all. The lighthouse does nothing, just stands casting light. But the ships that are lost in this storm, in the darkness of the night, are able to see that light and are able to come to the shore. They are able to find safety in the harbor. The lighthouse does that. Here is the lighthouse, the North Star, in the life of confusion, anxiety, and madness. Cast your eyes in all the directions around you, and this is what we will find. The whole world is going mad, crazy with ambition, jealousy, anger, and hatred. But we, all of us, want a place which is free from all this. We want a place that is free from anger, free from jealousy, free from frustration, free from anxiety, free from insecurity. And such sanctuary is this Atma. He is the one who has arrived where one should. The rest of us are just lost. We claim to know, we claim to be wise, but these claims are so false that one event is good enough to break the mask of our wisdom and of our serenity. Just let your wife or son say something, And there you will, one will throw out the anger like a volcano, erupt like a volcano. Therefore, for people like us, even to behold such a Mahatma, now that does not mean that I'm asking you all to go on a search with a magnifying glass who is a Jivan Mukta Mahatma. No, these words are giving you the darshan, the vision of such a Mahatma. Even if you are able to behold him in your mental eyes, through the eyes of your heart, that will also sanctify. Something will transform within you, that even life like this is possible. It is very much possible to live a life finally to arrive where a person can be so pure, so content, so peaceful, so resolved. For all that is being spoken is possible in all of us, provided one strives in the direction sincerely. As Bhagavan Patanjali says, Ishvara Pranidhanatva. Over there, Veda Vyasa, in his commentary on the Yoga Sutras in the Vyasa Bhashyam, he says, through that, the seeker, the aspirant, now makes Ishvara inclined towards him. It is a very beautiful expression. Avarjayati. He makes Ishvara tilt towards him. He makes Ishvara bend over him. Avarjayati. And how will you know that Parameshwara has cast his compassionate glance over you? Kripa Kataksha. When you will see that these petty desires are simply dropped. Now, gratification of the senses and gratification of the ego is not the primary motive in your movement in the world. One will diligently do the duties, perform the duties, but the purpose over there is not grabbing the world more and the purpose would be to render this heart free from corruption, free from pollution. Chitta Shuddhi will be the purpose. And when finally the Samadhi starts descending, know you are sitting in the lap of Ishvara. Now you are Atma Sanmukha, facing God. not turned away from God. This is Vaimukhyam, which means facing away, and Sanmukhyam means turning towards God. Ishvara has turned his glance towards you, but when will you make your eyes meet Ishvara's? Is the question. Such a Jivan Mukta Mahatma, now it is for his the Vidvat Sannyasa is being described over here in the fifth chapter, and we will do it like a person who goes into the forest, picks up the flowers. Not everything. The forest is laden with flowers and fruits and berries, but you cannot put everything in your basket. Just few things, few flowers, some berries, some fruits you can take in your basket. We will do it by that, just like that, because the portion is large and it is of more significance to those who have taken to sannyasana. Yet, even the grihasthas, the householders, can also derive something out of that well for themselves. Here we go. योगिनः परमहंसस्य मुख्यं कल्पं प्रश्नोत्तराभ्यां दर्शयति. Now, in the Paramahamsa Upanishad, what is the principal way of life for the Paramahamsa yogi is being brought out through few question and answers. Koyam mukhyaha iti ched ayam mukhyaha. If the question is, what is the main course of their life? Many people have asked these questions, and because they perhaps do not have proper words to ask the question. They ask, स्वामी जी आपके लाइन में आप लोग करते क्या है? हो आपका करियर कैसे है? This is what they perhaps they are using wrong words to ask. But what is the question is this? Koyam mukhyaha iti ched ayam mukhyaha. Na dandam na shikham na yajñopavitam na charanam charati paramahamsaha. Na dandam. In case of the Vividishu sannyasi, etc., an upper garment, a loin cloth, a cloth to wrap around the waist, a vessel for asking the vessel, a wooden vessel for asking alms, few things over there, and a staff, the wooden staff, bamboo staff, those all things were told as his parigraha, as his mark. But for the Paramahamsa yogi, Jivan Mukta Vidvat Sannyasi, even these things lose their significance. They also do not have any meaning, and therefore Nadandam, Nashikam Shikhaya Jnopavita is already given up. That's why in some sects where they say, oh, well, you have given up Shikhaya Jnopavita, that is not right. They do not know the precepts of the scriptures. In case of a Kutichaka and Bahodaka Sannyasi, or even a Hamsa Sannyasi, they can keep they're supposed to keep the sacred thread over the shoulder and the turf, the small turf of the hair which is knotted. Hmm? These are all okay, but they are given up. This is also given up. Na dandam na shikham na yajñopavitam na akshadanam charati paramahamsa. Not even him cloth. Even keeping a cloth is not compulsory for him. There can be another doubt. आच्छादनाद्य भावे शीतादि बाधायाः कः प्रतिकारः. In case if you are saying that he may not even keep the cloth on the shoulder or on the waist, then sir, forget lokalajja, etc. But at least tell us that how would such a person protect himself against the forces of the nature, rain and wind and winter, and the scorching rays of the sun. आच्छादनादि अभावे शीतादि बाधायाः कप्रतीकारः इति आशंक्य आह. If this is the doubt, this is the reply given by Parameshti. He says, न शीतं न चोष्णं न सुखं न दुःखं न मानामानौ च षडूर्मिवर्जम्. न शीतं, for him there is no cold, there is no heat, there is no excitement, there is no misery, even there is absence of mana and avamana. Mana means uh, respect or honor. Very nice thing. Honor, that people should honor me or they are honoring me, or avaman, that they have insulted me, dishonored me, disgraced me. All these ideas are not there. Shadurmi Varishitaha. And he is free from these six waves. The six waves are associated with the three bodies, the three koshas, the physical body, birth and death, janm mrityu. Then with the prana, hunger and thirst, and with the mind, sukha and dukkha. These are the six waves, and for him, they do not have any existence. They do not have any existence as long as they appear. For even appearance of all these things is dreamlike. Experience of all these is dreamlike. And because of his samadhi abhyasa, even absorbed in samadhi, he does not even experience these. Okay. Hmm. Aha. Evam dvandvanam kramena prana mano deha dharmatvad atmatatva vimukhasya yoginaha tadvarjanam yuchyate. To say that they do not exist for him is appropriate, is apt, because he is now established in the self, Atma Tattva Vimukha. He is now able to behold the reality and not involved in the appearances. Nano astu evam samadhi dashayam shtadiya bhavaha. Sir, let there be absence of all these things experienced by him in the state of samadhi. But vyuthana dashayantu, but when he is projected out, ejected out of that dasha, out of the samadhi, nindadi kleshaha sansarinam eva enam badheta eva. Now, vyuthana dashayam, when in this state of transactions with the world, in that mental state which is not in absorption, nindadi kleshaha, the trouble caused by dishonor, criticism, etc., will obviously affect him. Ityashankya, holding this as the doubt to be answered, Brahmaji further says, Ninda garva matsara dambhadarpecha dvesha sukha dukkha kama krodha lobha moha harsha suya hankaradi nishchayatvam. Having given up all this, ninda, criticism, censure, ninda, garva, vanity, matsaraha, envy, dambha, dambha means a show. What can be any good word for this?
Hypocrisy.
Okay, but there is more to it. He will explain it. Hypocrisy is to project something that is absent. By the English thing, this is what I understand. Hypocrisy would be to project something that is absent. Now, somebody who does not have money and just keeps on showing that, he has plenty of it, that would be hypocrisy. That would be hypocrisy. But you will see that he says that if I'm not going to read the entire thing, I'm going to leave it for you. Boasting. Oh, yes, that is better. Boasting, dambha, darpa. Darpa is arrogance, insolence, ichha, desires, dvesha, hatred, sukha dukkha, excitement, enjoyments, and dukkha is misery, suffering, frustration, etc., which we all know. Just let two people talk and they will just say that, my wife and my son and all those things. Kama, kama over here is stri vishaya ichha. Krodha, anger. Lobha, greed. Moha, delusion. Asuya is jealousy, or perhaps over there we already have seen envy and jealousy. Over here, matsara, and that can be seen. Moha, then where is it gone? Lobha, moha, harsha, excitement, asuya, ahankar, egoism, hitva, giving up all these things. Now, the question was that will he not be bothered? Will he not be troubled by somebody criticizing, censuring, insulting, dishonoring him? And he says no, because he has already given up. Now, this means that we are able to conclude somewhere we can understand that if someone rejects us, criticizes us, whether it is right, justified or not justified, criticism is a different thing. But if it bothers us, that means somewhere or the other we are still holding on to all these things because of which these factors are bothering us. They become klesha. Since he has given up all these things, even in the Vyuthana Dasha, it does not bother him. The question next is Nanu Vidyamane Swadehe Tat Parityago Na Sambhavati. Sir, what you are talking is just pure idealism. As long as the body is there, it is not possible to give up all these things completely. Nanu Vidyamane Swadehe Tat Parityago Na Sambhavati Iti Ashankya. Holding this as the doubt which can arise in the student's mind, the teacher answers saying, Svavapuhu kunapam iva drishyate yatastadvapuhu apadhastam. This is all. Why are you saying that as long as there is this body, and there is this body means there is identification with the body. Deha buddhi. Randavalkar Maharaj would use this word. Deha buddhi. It is traditionally used. Deha buddhi. Deha tadatmya. As long as there is this idea that I am this body or this body is mine, both of these, as long as till then such things will 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 exist. Jealousy and pride and vanity and egotism, all these things will be there. But once the deha buddhi has fallen apart, and for which how does he look upon this body? When there is no tadatmya, when there is no identification with the body, that body is just a decaying matter, like in case of a demised person's body. That body, there is no identification, and therefore even when this body is cremated and buried and things like that, or as it decays, rots, the person who has already left it does not feel bad, gone. Exactly, this is how he feels even about, looks upon the body. Swavapuhu punapam iva drishyate. How he finds this body is nothing but just food that is modified. And therefore, there is a very interesting story in the Jaina literature. In Jain literature, I don't remember the names of those characters now, for I had read it many, many years ago. There is a story, it said, and it is about one great lady who then, according to the, followed the ascetic path of life in Jainism. But a nice, what do they call? Very inspiring. So there was this one in the historical India, we had small states, and each state was prosperous and very prosperous. Uh, Even the diamond that is sitting in the queen's crown today is from Golconda, Kohinoor. So immense wealth this land, because there was abundance of water and natural resources and everything. So every state, there were small states. And so there was one state surrounded by four other states, four other kingdoms, small kingdoms. And this king had a daughter, and she was very beautiful girl. Her The fame of her beauty had made the kings and princes in the neighboring states ambitious to win her hand, and they all made a claim on the king that marry your daughter to us, to me. Each one of them, all the four of those men, wanted to marry her. The king had a problem, because if he gives his daughter even to one, the other three will unite and they will destroy his kingdom. To give his daughter in marriage to any one of them was an invitation to disaster. So he had a serious problem, and he did not know he was in a position like check and met, not knowing what to do. So when the girl saw her father becoming anxious because of this reason, she said, "Father, do not worry. Ask these men to come and see me, and I will choose whom to marry. And I assure you that no harm will ever come to anyone, not to you or even to them. My condition is that they should come and see me after 1 month. But before that, you make a gold statue, a replica of my, what do they call it? So the statue was made by the sculptors, who were very proficient. They made the statue exactly looking like this girl, same height, same shape, the face, shape of eyebrows, nose, everything, just like how, as if like you have it there in France, Paris, Tussauds, like that. But that is wax, it was made of gold. And she said that it should be empty from within and keep a lid on top of that. And whenever the food is served to me 3 times a day, the same food should be brought in one more plate. So all the food that came to her, she would consume, and she would empty the other plate into the statue as if it is a dumping bin. Everything was good. And eventually it kept on piling inside. And the day arrived when these men, all of them came to see her with an excitement, and also prepared that if she rejects and the other fellow takes her, then they were ready to attack, destroy, and fight, and all those things. You know how those things went on in the olden days. Then she called all of them together and said, "Do you see this golden statue?" They said, "Yes, it is your replica and it is very beautiful as you are." She said, "Now go close to it, open the lid and smell it." The rotten food smell, it smelled filthy, rancid, and they were repelled. She said, why are you repelled from the smell of that? The same food I have also consumed, which is sitting just wrapped under the skin, and therefore you cannot smell it that way. What else is this body other than just rotting material? Do you see? So even this Mahajnani, this Jivan Mukta also looks upon this body only as Kunapam Eva, just as a rotten material, rotting material, not rotten, but in process of decay. And Kunapam means a dead body because there is no identification with the body. Disidentified, unclaimed is a dead body. So that's why over there, Kunapam iva drishyate, and therefore your doubt that as long as the body is there in the Vyuthana Dasha, a person will be inflicted with these kleshas does not hold any water. This is also yataha tadvapuhu apadhastam, and therefore even his body is also as good as being as destroyed. Nanu utpanno dikramaha. So you are saying that because he does not have the delusion, identification with the body, identification with the body is delusion, a misunderstanding. And therefore, since this misunderstanding is not there, he does not have all these kleshas, afflictions. Now he uses that Brahma, delusion, misunderstanding as the point to raise another question. And he says, Nanu utpanno digramaha suryodaya darshanena nashtopi yatha kadachid anuvartate. Sometimes we have seen digramaha. A person gets confused with directions at night. Is not that true? We do get confused even with right and left. You have to observe, I have seen this very often when, at least now that we don't have to stop the car and ask people for directions because you have that GPS guiding you. But you have to ask people and they will say, left ko jao, left ko jao. I know you are seeing an inverted image, perhaps that's why you won't. But they will raise their right hand and then say, go to left. Then you ask, are you asking me to go to left or go to right? So then the person, you see, there is Brahma. Every time, even I am also dyslexic with the directions. So, left and right. I have to actually raise my hands to see left and right. So good, I don't drive. I don't know where I'll take people. Anyway, so what happens is this big Brahma. There is a confusion with regard to directions, a delusion. Dig Brahma, dig is directions. Brahma is delusion. So this misunderstanding you may take at night time. Which is east, what is west, what is north and south is not known because people used to travel before the sun rises, in the early hours of dawn, before the dawn breaks on the sky. Before that. So it used to be dark and people would not understand and they would travel exactly in the opposite direction sometimes. Once when we also got lost somewhere in forest, not knowing which direction to go. And then it took us very, very long time. Everybody was exhausted. Every muscle in the body was hurting so badly. Couldn't walk any further. Anyway, So Dig Brahma is possible. Then he uses this example. Now the sunrise has taken place. So now you know exactly which is east, and therefore, depending on what is west, what is north, south, you are able to determine. But even after the sunrise, sometimes the samskara of that Brahma, the impression on the mind of this delusion, of this misunderstanding, is so strong that even after the sunrise, we may we may have the Dig Brahma sometimes. Like that, he says, now this person has overcome all the delusion, that misunderstanding that this Atma is this Karta, Bhokta, body, etc. All such things are given up. But in spite of that, the Brahma keeps coming again. And it is possible that in his case, this Brahma, this delusion, this misunderstanding may rise again. There is this question. And therefore, since it may rise, he will be still inflicted with all those things which were mentioned before. What all things were mentioned? You read that all of you. Ninda, Garva, Matsara, Dambhadarpe, Chadvesha, Sukha, Dukkha, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Harsha, Sviyahankaradi. Okay. कदाचिद अनुवर्तते तथा कदाचिद आत्मनि देहात्म देहात्मत्व संशयादि अनुवृत्तौ निंदा क्लेशः पुनः पुनः प्रसज्येत इति आशंक्य आह. And therefore, because this is the doubt that one will be bothered by ninda, klesha, etc. Why? Because the samshaya viparyaya, this Brahma is in the form of samshaya and viparyaya. Will come again. So now here he Brahmaji answers samshaya viparita mithya jnananam yo hetu tena nitya nivrittaha. He is always free. Tena saha nitya nivrittaha. He who, this Jivan Mukta Mahatma, he is ever free. Nitya nivrittaha. He is always free from all these things. Which things? Samshaya viparyaya, mithya jnana. And why is he always free? Because the very root cause of this samshaya viparyaya, which further get expressed as dehatadhatma, etc., is that very root, that very seed of all this is forever destroyed. Hetu tena nitya nivrittaha. How come what is there a hetu? Avidya. And that is avidya is now not even allowed to raise its hood. In case of just a Brahmavit who is who is hmm, who has the or who is in the Sattvapatti stage, who has the knowledge but not given to samadhi, etc. He is videha kaivalya. He will attain videha kaivalyam, but not jivan mukti. Now, such a person over there in that case, avidya in all of us, even in jivan mukta, this is one opinion that avidya is destroyed completely at the last moment by the charamavritti. Understand this. Till then, the avidya, some avidya lesha, its little tinge is there. And in case of the Jivan Mukta, even that much avidya is also not allowed to raise its hood. Okay. And that is called as Nitya Nivritti. This is that Nitya Nivritti, okay? Tan Nityatve Hetu Maha. how can he have that nitya nivritti? Nitya means forever, always, permanent, permanent abolishment of that avidya. How has it gone away? Nitya nivrittitve hetumah. There is a hetu. We will explain you why. Tan nitya bodha. Nitya bodha, because the knowledge is ever shining. Nitya bodha, forever. Now, Vidyaranya Swami gives a little explanation to this, which we will see now. So, yeah, so this can be, whole thing can be completed. Tasmin Paramatmani Nityo Bodho Yasya Yoginaha. Nitya Bodha, Tan Nitya Bodha means Tasmin Paramatmani, the one whose bodha, awareness, consciousness, knowledge is always there in the self, over there. Tasmin Paramatmani Nityo Bodha Yasya Yoginaha Soyam Nitya Bodha. Nitya Bodha is therefore Bahuvrihi Samasa. Yogi hi Tameva Dhiro Vishyaya Prajnam Kurvita Brahmanaha Iti Shrutim Anusritya Chitta Vikshepam योगेन परिहृत्य नैरन्तर्येण परमात्म विषयामेव प्रज्ञां करोति अतो बोधस्य नित्यत्व बोध विनाशयोः अज्ञान तद वासनयोः निवृत्तिः नित्या इत्यर्थः. Let us see this tomorrow. I will keep this for a little explanation. Let us see this. Tomorrow is what? Friday, Saturday. Okay, 2 days. Saturday we will complete this Vidvat Sannyasa Prakarnam. If it gets completed tomorrow, I will leave the Saturday for some question answers. If it does not, then I will complete it on Saturday. So then we will be able to say that we have tried to study Jivan Mukti Viveka. We have begun. Om Yasya Nishvasitam Veda Yo Vedebhyo Kilan Jagat Nirmame Tamaham Vande Vidyatirtha Maheshwaram Vidyatirtha Maheshwaram. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaha Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmiti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Namah Shivaya.